The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, when a crusty spinster is murdered in her home, detectives have little to go on. Until someone starts to take on the victim's personality.
You minding my business?
And points the cops.
Do you believe in the afterlife?
Directly at the killer.
I know who killed me.
New Orleans, Louisiana, 2010. Firemen respond to a 911 call when neighbors notice smoke billowing out from under an apartment door. They quickly find the source of the fire, a burning couch. They also make a horrific discovery. The body is identified as 56-year-old Felicia, a nurse at the local retirement home.
Henry, back in your room. It's lunchtime. You're too skinny. You need to eat. Go on. Get.
Her abrasive, tough love style of nursing doesn't always sit well with her colleagues.
You minding my business? Because I don't need my business minded by you.
But that doesn't seem to bother her. Fear and grudging respect keep them quiet. Felicia prefers her own company to that of anyone else's and spends most of her breaks by herself.
Felicia's the kind of woman who doesn't suffer fools. She'll always tell it like it is, whether you want to hear it or not, and it isn't always pretty. It may be an efficient way to get the job done, but I'll tell you one thing, it doesn't win you a lot of friends.
Detective Alfred does his initial investigation and sees no sign of forced entry. After examining the body, detectives conclude that Felicia was likely sexually assaulted before the killer slit her throat. And while the apartment has been ransacked, there's no evidence that anything has been stolen.
There's a lot of evidence at the crime scene, but none of it is adding up. It looks like Felicia likely let her killer into her apartment, which means she knew him. But the motive doesn't seem clear. If it's a robbery gone bad, then what did they take? If it's a sex crime, then why did they toss the apartment? Either way, at least one thing is clear. The fire was an obvious attempt to destroy the crime scene.
The autopsy report reveals Felicia didn't have any carbon monoxide in her lungs, which confirms the detective's suspicion that the killer slit her throat, then set the fire to cover his tracks.
I'll be damned.
He also learns that Felicia was a virgin, which means she wasn't sexually assaulted.
Okay, well, this kind of puts a new spin on the 40-year-old virgin, doesn't it? Well, despite the fact that good old Felicia wasn't lucky in love, it's a solid clue for detectives because they can rule out sexual assault as a motive, which leads them with nothing. Nothing at all.
In an attempt to find out everything they can about Felicia's life, they track down her closest relative, her cousin Ray.
Hi, this is Detective Alfred calling. We're investigating the murder of your cousin Felicia.
He tells them Felicia was a spinster who had a very small circle of friends. And even at the retirement home where she worked, she mostly kept to herself.
Well, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Hoping to learn who might have a grudge against Felicia, Detective Alfred visits the retirement home where she worked.
I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about Felicia.
Felicia? She was, how do I put this? Focused.
So I've heard. Now, what were routines like? Anything strange about her?
It was like clockwork. Every morning she arrived 15 minutes early for her coffee. Same egg salad sandwich with tomatoes for lunch. Same afternoon cigarette breaks. Just enough time for 2 ciggies, she always said.
All right.
I can show you where she always took her breaks.
People have their routines, sure, but Felicia was highly regimented and she rarely strayed from her schedule, which can be a good lead for investigators. It not only makes it easy for them to track her movements right before she was killed, it limits the amount of people she may have had contact with. And that, my friends, if you follow my logic, limits the number of suspects.
Or anything else you can tell me about her?
Just as Detective Alfred wraps up his interview, Letitia spots something strange.
Oh my God, it's her,
Who?
Felicia. It's exactly 2:15. That's when she would always go on break. And that's her damn song.
Her what?
The song she always hums.
Detective Alfred approaches a woman who looks strangely similar to his murder victim.
Excuse me?
You minding my business? Because I don't need my business minded by you.
Not only is she spouting Felicia's catchphrase, she sounds exactly like her.
I'm generally not a big believer in people rising from the dead or any of that mystical stuff, but from this angle, it looks like Detective Alfred may be looking at a dead woman walking.
Cheyenne is a nurse who works at the same retirement home as Felicia, and that's where the similarities end.
Hey, sugar, how y'all today?
Good, thanks. You?
If God's in your heart, it's always a good day. Sweetie, I made some pralines for y'all. You better grab some before the next shift comes on.
While Felicia is crabby and crusty, Cheyenne is a ray of sunshine.
Yum. These are better than the last ones y'all made.
I put some extra butter and sugar in there and a little bit of nutmeg and some of my mama's vanilla.
She's been happily married for 20 years, enjoys singing in the church choir on Sundays, and doesn't drink anything stronger than sweet tea. And while Cheyenne knows who Felicia is, they work opposite shifts, and their paths rarely cross.
Hey, hon, new scrubs?
You minding my business?
But after Felicia's death, Cheyenne's sunny disposition starts to fade, and her husband notices some strange changes in her appearance.
I just thought you'd want something to drink, like perhaps some tea.
What you think this is?
I was just asking.
I ain't got time for this foolishness.
Cheyenne's colleagues also notice the change.
Good morning, Cheyenne.
Not from where I'm standing. You know, I'm sick and tired of all your cheerfulness and all your happy, joy foolishness. I'm at work, you're at work, and worse, we're here together.
You feeling okay, Cheyenne?
You minding my business? Because I don't need my business minded by you.
Not only is she starting to look like their murdered colleague Felicia, but she's starting to sound like her too.
Are you gonna move, or am I gonna make you move?
I'll move.
If you're anything like me, you're looking at Cheyenne and thinking, what the heck is going on? Here's a woman who barely knew Felicia, and she's basically taking on her personality now that she's dead. When people are under stress, they can exhibit personality changes. So maybe Cheyenne is in the middle of some kind of breakdown. That, or she's got an even sicker sense of humor than I do.
I ain't got no...
Despite the fact that Cheyenne has never touched a cigarette in her life, she begins to take regular smoke breaks at the exact time Felicia used to take hers.
Are you a man? Are you a man or a boy? Am I your wife or your mama? Make your own dinner for a change, fool. I'm going to the casino after work.
Nothing seems to crack Cheyenne's newfound hardened veneer until a friendly janitor crosses her path.
I'm so...
How y'all doing?
Get away from me. Get away from me.
So Cheyenne has gone from someone who's sweet as pralines and adored by all to a full-blown badass who isn't afraid of anyone. but she's suddenly terrified of a janitor who offers a friendly hello? This is obviously more than a stress-related issue. I'm no psychologist, but whatever it is, one thing's for sure. Cheyenne's got some serious issues going on.
Detective Alfred is frustrated by the lack of progress in the investigation until he receives a surprise visit from a local dentist in town.
How do you do, sir? I'm Dan.
Lord.
I wanted to talk to you about the murder of my wife's co-worker, Felicia.
Your wife, Nora well?
Well, no, but she seems to be really affected by her death. I think she might have some information.
Oh, really?
But before I go any further, can I ask you something?
Sure can.
I know this is gonna sound crazy, but do you believe in the afterlife?
Well, my mama was a believer, and my daddy thought it was hooey. So, I'm about 50-50.
I made a recording of my wife, Cheyenne, last night.
My name is Felicia.
As crazy as it sounds, I fear she might be possessed with Felicia's spirit. She's basically transformed into a completely different person. And I'm starting to get a little scared.
Cheyenne also reveals some surprising information about Felicia's murder.
I know who killed me.
So Dan here is claiming that Cheyenne is possessed by Felicia's spirit. As an FBI agent, you're trained to be skeptical, but it doesn't take much effort here. A genteel Southern woman being possessed by a dead spinster spirit she never even knew? Okay, tell me another one.
2 weeks after Felicia is murdered in cold blood, a frightened and anxious Cheyenne has taken a leave of absence from work, claiming she's sick.
Get away from me. Stop it. Stop, what are you doing?
Hi, Cheyenne. I'm Detective Alfred. Your husband here tells me you may have some information on Felicia's death.
My name is Felicia.
This is serious business.
He's murdered me! He's murdered me! Help me, please!
Who?
Bruno Beaumont!
Who's that?
I have no idea.
Okay, I've seen The Exorcist. I get it. Either Cheyenne is channeling Felicia and pointing the finger at her killer, or she's a nutcase who somehow believes she's become a dead woman. Either way, she's pointing to a potential suspect, and at this point, with no other solid leads, detectives have no choice but to look into it.
After questioning Cheyenne's colleagues, they learn that Bruno Beaumont is a janitor at the retirement home where she and Felicia worked.
Here you go, Tish.
Thanks, Bruno. You're the best.
He's known by all his co-workers as a gentle soul who's always ready to lend a helping hand.
So it's at the dog track. Ah, amazing. You got to go. You have to go. So I had one dog.
Bruno is one of the rare people Felicia tolerated.
It was a real long shot. Starting bet was 1,000. And my greyhound won. I just got me $3,000 that day.
Oh, haven't been to the races in ages.
What?
Makes me want to go.
You should go. It was too much fun.
But as far as anyone knew, they didn't associate outside of work.
Hand, please.
Can I have a smoke?
There'll be no smoking in here, ma'am.
I ain't got time for this foolishness.
Suspicious of Cheyenne's accusations, Detective Alfred asks her to take a lie detector test.
Who killed you, Felicia?
Bruno, and he damn slit my throat.
In an attempt to catch Cheyenne in a lie, he feeds her false information.
How did Bruno break into your apartment?
He didn't break in, fool. I let him in.
Tripping people up with false details is a pretty good way for cops to figure out if a suspect is giving them the runaround. The problem is, it's not working. In fact, Cheyenne is giving investigators details about the crime that no one would know except Felicia and her killer. And this is getting creepy, even for me. By now, Detective Alford has got to be wondering if Cheyenne really does have a direct line to the other world.
Unable to prove Cheyenne is faking it, Detective Alford follows the only lead he has and takes a closer look at Bruno. He does a background check and learns Bruno's been arrested for shoplifting and domestic assault, but the charges never stuck.
Bruno, you've been bad.
Even if this guy hasn't been convicted of anything, this type of dodgy past is a red flag for investigators. So the next step is figuring out two things. Does the guy have motive and opportunity?
Zeroing in on their only suspect, detectives bring Bruno in for questioning.
All right. I understand that you've been a custodian at the retirement home for some time now.
Yeah.
You and Felicia ever see each other outside of work at all?
Yeah, I'd see her a few times. I'm a handyman, so I would go over to her house, fix some things. I do a lot of odds and ends for a lot of the single ladies I work.
Odds and ends. All right. Well, let's just cut to the chase here. Where were you the night of Felicia's murder?
Oh, yeah. Took my girlfriend out that night. Actually took her to the steakhouse, just down the street on Bourbon. Yeah, actually, you know what? Actually, I think I still have the receipt.
You still have the receipt?
Yeah, I like to keep all my receipts. There you go. Yeah, you could talk to her if you want. She'll tell you.
All right. I'll do that.
So at this point, detectives have got to figure out who's telling the truth. On one hand, Bruno had access to Felicia's apartment, but he also has an alibi. On the other hand, Cheyenne has details of the murder that by all rights, she shouldn't have. One of them's got to break, and it's Detective Alford's job to do the breaking.
Unsure who to believe, Detective Alford visits Cheyenne once more, hoping for a break in the case.
You is the daddy, fool. Kid number 6. Oh, Lord, trash. Why your sister don't mind her own business? Everybody's minding everybody's business, but...
Well, Cheyenne.
Why the hell you keep calling me Cheyenne? My name is Felicia.
All right. Is there anything more you can tell me about that night, Felicia?
Well, he stole my watch. That was my watch. That was my mama's watch, her mama before that. And he took it. It was gold with diamonds and red stones in every number. He killed me, and then that snake stole my watch. My cousin Ray can identify it.
Cousin Ray. Now, how can I get in touch with this Cousin Ray?
You heard telephones? Ray's number is...
She proceeds to give the exact phone number and address of Felicia's cousin Ray.
So this is starting to get a little spooky. I'm no sissy, but I will admit poltergeists kind of freak me out. And the stuff Cheyenne's spouting seem to be the facts that only Felicia would know. Either this lady is telling the truth, or she's done her homework, and she's an A student.
Detectives pay Bruno a visit at home.
All right, so let me get this straight. On the night of the incident, y'all went out for a birthday dinner.
See, I told you.
His girlfriend reconfirms their dinner date on the night Felicia was killed. But before Detective Alford leaves, he notices something that turns the case on its head.
Where'd you get that? Let me see that.
Yeah, I kind of got that for her when we went out, just kind of commemorate the occasion. You know, she likes her jewelry. You know, great night out for dinner. Yeah.
That's Felicia's watch. Where'd y'all get it?
I bought it at a pawn shop.
Got a receipt for that?
I threw it away.
I thought you always kept them. I thought you were the receipt guy.
Okay, so let's recap. Stick with me on this one. Over here, we've got a guy with priors who may have just given his girlfriend a dead woman's watch. And over here, we have a semi-lucid psychic who's spouting details about a murder she had nothing to do with. This is probably where the saying, between a rock and a hard place, was born.
Looking to uncover the truth about the violent death of Felicia, Detective Alfred asks her cousin Ray to identify Felicia's watch. Ray sends Detective Alfred an email that seals the deal.
Nice try, Bruno. Nice try.
Detective Alfred has caught Bruno in a bold-faced lie. So here's where cops go in for the kill. I love this part. This never gets old.
Police up the ante and call Bruno down to the station.
Thanks for coming down again. Really do appreciate it. Now, before we begin, is there anything you'd like to get off your chest? One last chance?
No.
How about we get some fingerprints then?
I got nothing to do with this, man.
Well, then you all got nothing to worry about now, do you? Well, what do you know? Looks like your fingerprints are all over the crime scene.
I used to go over and fix stuff for all the time. I'm sure my fingerprints are there.
Sensing weakness, Detective Alfred plays his ace.
Would they be on the knife that was used to slit her throat?
No.
Really? Because I got something here. Tells me different. Does this sound familiar, Bruno?
Why would Bruno want to kill you? Because he had a gambling debt, and I refused to lend him money.
Who's that?
That's your coworker, Cheyenne.
How would she know that?
Is there something you want to tell me?
All she had to do was give me the money. That's all she had to do.
It looks like hearing Felicia's voice talking from the grave shocked Bruno into giving himself up. I'd never believe it myself if I didn't see it for myself. In fact, I still don't believe it.
Oh, yeah. I'll pay up. No problem, man. No problem.
Having gone into debt betting all his money on dog racing, Bruno's finally out of cash. And his bookie comes calling.
What, he wanted tonight? Oh, I don't know, man. No. Don't hurt her. Don't hurt her. I'll get it.
Bruno admits that the night of the murder, he shows up unexpectedly at Felicia's house.
Bruno, what are you doing here?
Hi. I need a favor.
Okay.
Bruno tells Felicia he's in a bind. He owes his bookie a wad of cash, and he has to pay up.
These people are bad people. I need anything that you can give me.
I ain't got no money for you.
I've seen rolls of cash tucked in every drawer of your house.
That's for my retirement. I can't lend you any money.
We've been friends. Listen, I need money. You can't give me anything?
You can shout out at me all you want. You're not getting any money from me.
When Bruno's pleading doesn't work, he threatens Felicia.
You need to go. I'm calling the cops on you.
When she refuses to give in, Bruno snaps. He kills Felicia. Then robs her. And attempts to cover up the crime.
Money is the most common motive for murder, and stupid criminals in desperate situations usually have zero impulse control, which means they wind up making mistakes and getting caught. Bruno didn't go there to kill Felicia, but when she refused to help him, he lost it. So instead of having to deal with his bookie, Bruno's got to deal with a bunch of cops that can put him away for good. These losers will never learn.
Bruno is found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison. As soon as he's behind bars, the spirit of Felicia stops haunting Cheyenne and starts haunting Bruno.
No! 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 No!
Even if you don't believe in all this hocus-pocus stuff, the clues given by this so-called possessed woman led cops to the killer. So in my mind, we're left with two explanations. She either outsmarted the cops and solved the murder herself, but was too scared to point the finger at her colleague, or she really was possessed by the spirit of the victim, who used her as a medium to speak from beyond the grave. Look, you don't have to tell me it's cray-cray, like my kids say. Either way you look at it, justice was served. It might just make me a believer.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders,
Stefan.
in a sleepy German town, a love triangle turns nasty.
No! Stefan! Schwein! Du Bastard!
And jealous passions take over.
Nine.
Swine! But who's to blame for the desperate act of a scorned lover?
Get out! Out!
The investigators are going to have to use more than their gut to figure this case out.
I think we've all had enough bratwurst for the time being.
Luke and Ingrid got married straight out of high school. At first, their marriage was everything Ingrid had dreamed of. But when they weren't able to have kids, that dream started to die. Luke is Wurzburg's most successful taxidermist. His obsession with stuffing dead animals knows no end.
Here you go.
Danke.
Ingrid becomes increasingly restless and resentful of being Luke's caretaker.
Maybe we could rent out the spare bedroom. You know, to make some extra money.
Yeah.
To add to the tension, the couple's expenses become increasingly overwhelming.
Oh, hello.
Hi, I'm Stefan. It's a pleasure to meet you.
I'm Luke.
Ingrid.
Pleasure to meet you, Ingrid.
Stefan is a cheesemaker from the neighboring town of Schweinfurt. He's renting out Luke and Ingrid's spare room so he can scout out the local marketplace in advance of Oktoberfest.
Hello.
Hello? I'm not disturbing you, am I?
Of course not. Please, come in.
I just wanted to make sure that everything is okay.
Leticia, yeah. I make it myself.
Luke's fixation with his dead animals keeps him at his shop 24/7, leaving Ingrid alone in the apartment with Stefan. It doesn't take long for them to strike up a friendship and turn the heat up in the kitchen.
Another breakfast?
Yes. Another sausage, please.
want to, Stefan. I want to put mustard all over you and eat you up.
Stefan is 10 years younger than Ingrid and makes her feel young and sexy all over again.
Look.
Kiss me, Stefan.
In all my years at the FBI, I never saw any cases where a bored housewife looking for excitement led to any problems. Never at all. I'm kidding, of course. There was actually one case at the FBI where it led to a quadruple homicide involving the eating of a human corpse. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. I mean, I hate those cases.
With Luke burning the midnight oil every night, Ingrid and Stefan's affair kicks into high gear, turning the apartment into a bona fide sex den.
Do you like the clam?
I love it.
Nine. Swine! No! Get out of my house, you swine!
Stefan moves out the next day, and Luke and Ingrid try to put the pieces of their marriage back together.
Stefan means nothing to me. It's over. It's you that I love, Sneaky.
Are you sure you still want to be with me? Is the man who stuffs dead animals?
Yeah.
With a new apartment in town, Stefan settles into life in Würzburg, and the two lovers continue their illicit affair. This time, far away from Luke's prying eyes.
I get it. Being bad gives you a rush. Is that how it goes? The problem is that you've got to keep that rush going. And in my experience, that usually leads to escalating the situation and creating even more danger. It's never a good idea. I'm so sorry.
Stefan's cheese business is taking off, and he's riding high. Life gets even better when he meets Hannah, the most young and attractive bratwurst maker the world has ever seen.
Guten Tag.
Hallo.
Bratwurst.
Cheers.
Hannah.
Stefan.
Stefan and Hannah hit it off from the get-go, and within no time at all, start a whirlwind romance. A month into their relationship, Stefan invites Hannah to move in with him.
My little schnitzel.
Little.
Not so little.
But Stefan hasn't yet told his new lover about Ingrid. That is, until he's forced to.
Whatever happened to having just one girlfriend and being pretty damn happy with that? Stefan's got a real Mick Jagger thing going on with all these irons in the fire. I get it. The ladies like him and all, but something tells me this ain't gonna end well. Achtung, Stefan, Achtung.
You Hurensohn! Stefan! Schwein! You bastard!
For the past 3 months, Ingrid has been having an affair with young buck Stefan.
Why are you kissing some young schlamper?
But when she discovers she's not the only woman in his life,
How dare you!
she goes berserk.
Ingrid, keep your voice down. Right, Hannah, don't go, don't go. Ingrid, it is over. Okay? I'm in love with Hannah now.
It's fine.
I would not want to be in Stefan's shoes right now. A woman scorned is a, well, let's say, hell hath no fury.
What is going on? Who was that?
Okay, we had an affair. She's obsessed with me. She's crazy. She can't accept that it's over. Forgive me, please. I can't live without you. I promise things are over with Ingrid.
Tu swear?
Man, can this guy talk his way out of anything or what? Unreal.
So how's the magazine, sweetie?
That isn't doing traditions.
It is my pleasure, my love.
Stefan works tirelessly to earn back Hannah's trust. And before long, their relationship is back on track.
I was waiting for your call all day long, Stefan.
I'm sorry, my love. I was busy making cheese.
But Stefan isn't a one-woman kind of guy.
You went with that young tramp Hannah, were you?
I told you we broke it off. I only want you, my little strudel.
And keeps his affair with Ingrid
I want you too.
well and alive.
Can I come over?
No. I'll come to you and kiss you all over.
I cannot wait, my sexy sausage.
This Stefan is a real piece of work, a total dog. He's trying to have his cake and eat it too, but it looks like this cake might bite back, and it won't be a sweet and delicious kind of bite either. You're following my cake metaphor, right?
Ingrid?
Hannah?
What are you doing here? I should ask the same question of you. I live here. You what? Yeah. Get out. Out!
Hannah and Ingrid leave the encounter stunned. Can you imagine being in either one of their shoes? Stefan's got some explaining to do, and it better not be mansplaining.
Ingrid is crazy. I swear.
You know she came by the house today? How can you explain that to me? You swear you haven't been in contact with her?
No. Not since the argument in the tent. I promise. Okay? She's crazy. I swear. I'm gonna call her and tell her to never come by here ever again.
I don't know, Stefan.
Hannah isn't sure what to believe, but takes Stefan's word. For now.
Jeez Louise, seriously, some guys have all the luck. Sure, Stefan is a good-looking dude, but man, oh man, Hannah is way too trusting as far as I'm concerned. Stefan better watch out, because he's built a real house of cards with all these lies. And you pull one card out and boom, the whole thing comes down.
Fine, I hate him.
Enraged, Hannah decides to take matters into her own hands.
Hello? Stefan, you stud.
Ingrid, you lying bitch. Stay away from my man.
Without any mention of her phone call with Ingrid, Hannah moves on as though nothing happened.
How did the batch of Limburger turn out?
Stinkier than the last batch.
How was the breakfast?
Delicious as always, my love. A little spicy, too.
As Stefan finishes up his third bratwurst,
You okay, Schnucky?
it's more than just his heartburn that starts to fire up.
It's okay. It's okay. That's it. Let it out. Let it out. Okay. It's okay, breathe. Hello? Police? My boyfriend has become violently ill.
I can't feel my legs and my arms. Help me. Help me. And I can't see. I can't see.
Hans! Hans! Steve, it's me. Steve, it's me. Stefan?
At the hospital, the medical team tries desperately to bring Stefan back to life.
No.
But it's all in vain.
Stefan! Wake up, Stefan.
He dies on the hospital gurney, mere hours after he started choking.
Stefan's body went into complete shock, and his system did everything it could to reject whatever foreign substance was causing the breakdown. I'm guessing this isn't just a bad case of too much bratwurst.
Due to the strange nature of his death, an autopsy is performed on Stefan's body, and the toxicology report reveals the presence of a substance called oleander, found in the bratwurst.
Is that so? Oleander.
For those of you not in the know, oleander is a plant used in homeopathic medicines for pain relief. But if overconsumed, high doses will stop the heart and other internal organs from working, which is bad. After severe vomiting, you'll feel like your mouth is on fire. Then you'll lose all feeling in your limbs. Your breathing becomes slower and slower, and your heartbeat will eventually stop. But the real kicker is your mind remains completely lucid throughout, so you get to experience your own personal nightmare in real time with complete clarity. It really is the worst.
With oleander being such a rare substance, it's likely that Stefan was deliberately poisoned. And Hannah is Detective Wolfgang's #1 suspect.
So, Fräulein, do you care to tell me why there was this rare poison called oleander found in the bratwurst you served Stefan?
Poison? Why would I poison Stefan? I love him. We were going to spend the rest of our lives together.
I'm curious to know, how did the poison get into the sausage?
I don't know. You should ask that crazy lady Ingrid.
Ingrid?
She was a taxidermist's wife. They were having an affair. She was obsessed with him.
And where does this Ingrid live?
I don't know. But I can give you her phone number. This was Stefan's phone. You can send the text message.
Du sagst es nicht.
So you've got the new girlfriend who's learned that her boyfriend was cheating on her with his ex. The boyfriend ends up dead at the hands of a sausage served to him by his new girlfriend, who claims she would never hurt him. This is a classic love triangle with both women having motive to kill him. So the challenge for old Wolfie here is to figure out which of these jealous cuckoo clocks had the opportunity.
Detective Wolfgang brings Ingrid in for questioning.
And how do you know Stefan?
He rented a spare bedroom in my house. It was only for a short time.
Have you seen him since?
No, I barely know him.
But I know all about your affair, my dear. All about it. Look what I found, Fräulein.
Yes, okay, we were lovers, but I would never hurt him. Never. He was the only good thing in my life.
Ingrid tells Detective Wolfgang that when Luke caught them having an affair, he was fueled with rage towards Stefan.
They had a fist fight with each other. It was like two animals in the wild. Very violent.
What do they say about the cycle of violence? It comes back around to get you. Guess that little punch up in the kitchen wasn't such a good idea after all. Don't you think, Luke?
As far as Detective Wolfgang is concerned, the only person with a grudge against Stefan is Luke.
I understand that Stefan filed a police report regarding your fight.
which now makes Luke the #1 suspect in his death.
He claims that you were the aggressor.
I hated Stefan. Yes, okay. If he's sleeping with my wife under my own roof. But I'm not the killer. I'm a taxidermist.
What do you know about oleander? Do you use it for homeopathic purposes? Or perhaps cooking?
I know nothing about poison. Besides, I was at my taxidermy shop the entire day with my partner Klaus.
When Wolfgang interviews Stefan's neighbors, one in particular remembers seeing a strange woman going into his apartment on the day he died.
What did this woman look like?
She had long, dark hair, and I would say she was about 30.
You don't say. I'll be damned if that doesn't sound exactly like little old Ingrid. And she was snooping around the victim's house the day he died. That's not suspicious at all, is it? You get my sarcasm there, right? So now we've got motive and opportunity. Just got to prove means, and you got a party.
Oh.
Detective Wolfgang is able to obtain a search warrant.
Standard search warrant.
Based on the neighbor's information.
Going somewhere?
9.
May I see your purse? I'm only asking to be polite. What is this?
It is herbs that my doctor gave me for the pain in my neck. Do you mind?
I don't think so, Fräulein. You'll have to use a more traditional pain medication for the time being.
Wolfgang sends the bag of brown powder he obtained from Ingrid to forensics for testing.
Oleander, are you sure? 99.9%. Dankeschön.
As you know, I'm not a huge fan of coincidences when investigating a crime, especially not when the ex-lover is seen at the home of the victim on the day he was poisoned and they find a bag with the exact rare poison in her purse. That's not what I call a coincidence anymore. That's what I call you look really, really, really guilty.
June 15th, 2000. Please state your name for the record.
Ingrid.
Detective Wolfgang has proven that Ingrid had opportunity and now means, but he still has to prove motive for his case against her in Stefan's murder to be bulletproof.
Listen to me. We have an eyewitness that saw you enter Stefan's apartment on the day of the crime. The powder we took from your purse was deadly poison.
I have nothing to say.
I have tickets to the opera tonight. Why don't you just tell me how you did it, and we can all get on with it. Ingrid, this is your chance.
Okay, Mr. Detective. I will tell you.
When Stefan stopped answering Ingrid's calls, she sank into a deep depression. She couldn't imagine her life without Stefan and refused to accept that anyone else could have him if she couldn't.
Guten Tag. What brings you in today?
I need something for the pain in my neck.
Something for the pain. Let me just check.
She went to a homeopathic doctor on the pretense of needing a pain reliever.
Oh yes, oleander. Excellent for the pain, but is known to be deadly in high doses.
Oh.
Be very careful with it.
Then she let herself into Stefan's apartment and put her plan into motion. Ingrid switched Stefan's bratwurst for the one she made at home with a special ingredient. Enough oleander to kill him.
Oleander is bitter, so if you were to mix it in with something bland like a piece of bread, You'd know it right away. But some spicy bratwurst? Now we're talking.
Ingrid, I'm placing you under the arrest for the murder of Stefan.
I will love Stefan forever. He is my spicy bratwurst.
I think we've all had enough bratwurst for the time being.
Ingrid is charged with first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison.
You could say that Stefan had it coming with all the womanizing, but that doesn't mean he deserved to be poisoned to death. In the end, Ingrid was a lonely, bored housewife who let her jealous passion overcome her, and Stefan was the one who paid the price.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, life in Liberty, Texas is as quiet as it gets.
I'd like my favorite, a piece of cherry pie, if you would.
Coming right up.
Until a series of murders begins with human and mannequin victims.
What the heck?
Can police catch the killer before he strikes again? Or will the bodies pile up faster than a sneeze through a screen door?
Damn, this town's going to hell in a handcart.
Liberty, the small town with a heart as big as Texas. Life here is about the good Lord, good people, and good food.
Refill?
Thank you kindly, little lady.
The law runs deep through Sheriff Walker's blood. His daddy and granddaddy were both town sheriff.
So I heard them Wilson boys have been stirring up a little trouble.
Oh, yeah. They were as drunk as Cooter Brown. I found them up at the Henderson farm, tipping cows. I tell you, Dallas, these boys, they're a few pickles short of a barrel.
Oh, Sheriff, you're so funny. Oh, my goodness.
I need to be talking to you out here.
All right. Excuse me, ma'am.
So I'm crossing the road, right? And I look across the street, and I see something right there. You see? She's over yonder. I think it's Lady Bird.
Why do you think that?
I know her hairdresser. That's her cut and color. She's a total bum.
Hey. I got it from here. You're going home now, yeah? Come on. Ain't that nuttier than a squirrel's turd.
When Sheriff Walker examines the body, he confirms that it's local wife and cheerleading coach, Lady Bird.
Happy Texas Independence Day, y'all! I'm Dallas. How you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm excellent.
A former NFL cheerleader, Lady Bird ran the PTA and the local Liberty Prayer Circle.
Oh, my. Oh, and Barry, I got the whole circle praying that ward of yours away. Jesus, take the wheel on this one.
The bruising on Lady Bird's forehead indicates she was bludgeoned to death. The body is still warm, suggesting that Lady Bird was killed within the last couple of hours. Sheriff Walker checks for physical evidence at the scene, discovering fingerprints on Lady Bird's ankle.
Got gotta say, if I were going to bludgeon someone, I'd wear gloves. The fact that this killer didn't tells me this happened in the heat of the moment without much planning. Just more proof that we're looking for someone with major anger issues who could snap at any moment. You know, they say there's a monster in the heart of every man. In my case, it's the Cookie Monster.
Oh, ain't this just an ugly old thing? Who could have done that to my lady?
Sheriff Walker brings Lady Bird's husband, Buck, down to the station to answer a few questions.
Buck, I'm gonna have to ask you where you was this morning.
God, I can't believe you'd think that I did this to my wife. It just makes me madder than a wet hen.
Whenever a woman's a victim of foul play, we're gonna look straight at her husband or boyfriend. Why? Because in most cases, they did it. So guys, if we don't like being the automatic prime suspects, we, as a group, need to stop killing the women in our lives.
If you can just tell me where you was, I'd much appreciate it. I could get you out of here and back to grieving lady.
I started work at the ranch at 6 in the morning, and I was there till you called.
Can anybody prove it?
Everyone. I was in the field in full view of the entire place.
Sheriff Walker calls Buck's employer, confirming that he was, in fact, working in the field that whole morning.
He was here till you called him away, Sheriff.
Oh, yeah, Well, nice talking with you, bud.
Same here.
Yeah, well, we gotta get out duck hunting sometime soon. Been a dog's year.
Love to, Sheriff.
See ya.
Now that's what I call an airtight alibi. You can't even go to the bathroom without a bunch of witnesses noticing you're gone. There's no way you could slip off, kill someone, dump the body, and then make it back in time. I mean, unless you're dealing with a kidney stone, so your bathroom breaks are long and... Oh, sorry, TMI. Sorry, getting old is hard. Anyway, I think Buck's eliminated as a suspect.
Sheriff Walker hangs his hopes on finding a match for the fingerprints found on Lady Bird's body.
Walker.
Before the results can come in, though, Sheriff Walker gets a shocking report. Another body has been found.
Well, ain't that just a big pile of horse manure?
This town has gone from never having a murder to having 2 in a matter of days. That tells me law enforcement has a serious problem on their hands. Or everyone here is living in a small-town horror movie. Don't turn off the lights.
When Sheriff Walker starts to examine the crime scene, he realizes this latest victim isn't human. It's a mannequin.
What the heck?
Seeing that the mannequin has been made up to look like Lady Bird's body, Sheriff Walker checks it for fingerprints, but can't find any.
Wait, so at the real murder scene, there's fingerprints, but here, nothing? That means that there are either 2 killers and the mannequin slayer is doing a way better job of covering his tracks, or we've got 1 killer who's learning. The question now is whether the mannequin is a taunt, or is a sign of something to come, maybe another murder, maybe a killer sidewalk sale.
I was the one who found her, you know.
News travels fast in Liberty, and soon everyone knows all the details of Lady Bird's murder and the mannequins.
It was awful. My best friend.
Oh, don't go fixing to lie to us, Miss Clementine. We all know you couldn't stand Lady Bird. She won more jelly competitions than you can shake a stick at. And would you win? First place loser? That's all. Sorry about that. I just hate how she's turning this tragedy into the Clementine show.
I understand, Alice. But between you and me, I don't like it either. But I don't think pointing fingers and laying blame is going to help us solve this thing.
Any leads on who killed Lady Bird and that big dog yet?
No, ma'am. Don't you worry your pretty little head about it. I think with all the evidence that I've collected so far, we should have this thing solved pretty soon. Meanwhile, I'd like my favorite, a piece of cherry pie, if you would.
Coming right up.
Sheriff Walker is hoping the fingerprints taken from Lady Bird's body will point to the killer. But it comes back with no matches in the police system.
So every time we catch a criminal and put them in jail, we fingerprint them and put those prints in a system. If no matches come back, that means the killer isn't known to law enforcement, making him that much harder to catch. Now police have to work the case and hope they can crack it before any more locals or mannequins have to suffer.
Come in. Hey, Wade, thanks for coming down.
No problem, Sheriff.
In a desperate need for information, Sheriff Walker turns to the man who sees and hears everything. Liberty's mailman, Wade.
So, Wade, have you seen anything suspicious around town since Lady Bird's body was dumped?
No.
My family's from a small town in Texas, and I can tell you that the person who knows all the gossip is always the mailman. So I'm laying bets on the fact that Wade here has heard everyone's secrets. He's like the town confessor, but instead of confessions, he hears all the whispers about who's having affairs and who's the secret father of whose baby. You know, all the important things.
So, I really need your help on this one, Wade, before everybody in this town thinks I'm all hat and no cattle. You hear about any strangers?
Yeah. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I did. Darlene told Carl, who told Becky Ann, who told me, that the varmint in question was seen coming and going from Clementine's place.
Clementine's place.
That's right.
All right, thanks for this, Wade.
No problem, Sheriff.
Come in. Ah, Miss Clementine. Please, take a seat. Good to see you. Now, look, I don't want to get up in your business, Clementine, but I've heard some stories that vomit staying in your place.
You better be talking about a possum, Sheriff. Because I know you ain't referring to someone staying with me as no varmint.
Well, I gotta confess, I am.
Just to set the record straight, my cousin came down from New York City, and he left 2 days before Lady Bird was killed. So he ain't no varmint, just a Yankee.
All right.
When you're living in a small town and you know everyone in it, I get wanting the murderer to be a stranger. But in most cases, victims are murdered by people they know. So it's time to stop looking outward and to start thinking about who in town could be a real corn-fed killer.
Over the next 2 months, Sheriff Walker continues interviewing locals, but no new information comes to light.
Well, don't that just snap your goddess?
There are, however, new victims, as a series of mannequin and mannequin parts are dumped around town. Every 2 weeks, just like clockwork, they show up, each more gruesome than the last.
It's not unusual for a killer to taunt police with something like notes, puzzles, even dolls, or in this case, mannequins. But usually that happens when you've got something like a serial killer. In this case, you've just got one body and no leads, so why keep dumping mannequins? No matter what the answer is, though, it's time for police to figure it out before they look like a bunch of dummies.
2 weeks later, the next call comes in, right on schedule.
Walker. What? Another one? You're right there.
At the dump site, Sheriff Walker doesn't find a mutilated mannequin, but rather Clementine, bludgeoned to death, just like Lady Bird.
Damn, this town's going to hell in a handcart.
So now we've got a second victim who looks a lot like our first. Maybe this is a serial killer after all. And between the similar victims and the mutilated mannequins, I think we're looking at someone with more issues with women than Jack the Ripper.
When Sheriff Walker examines Clementine's body, he discovers several dark hairs.
Yeah, that's gonna help. It's gonna help a lot.
Knowing these could give him a DNA profile for the killer, Sheriff Walker gathers the hairs and sends them out for testing.
Yeah, I don't think my Nana would like to join a Grannies and Guns group, but I'll ask.
With another dead body and no suspects in sight, locals start focusing on protecting themselves. Some people get guns, while others go for more unconventional methods.
Dallas, you here?
Yeah, Clementine and Ladybird were both blondes, so I figured better safe than sorry.
All right.
Yeah, because in this tiny town where everyone knows everything about everyone, the killer would never know who's a blonde and who isn't.
Your usual?
Let's get one to go. Gotta get back at it.
With panic sweeping the town, Sheriff Walker knows Liberty will be torn apart if he doesn't solve this case soon. He theorizes that whoever's been dumping the mannequins is most likely Ladybird and Clementine's killer. If he can trace where the mannequins come from, then he thinks he might just catch the killer red-handed.
I don't know what's going wrong with this town.
It's a reasonable idea. The killings are the product of a sick mind. The mannequin mutilations are also the product of a sick mind. In a small town, how likely is it that you'd have two sick minds pop up at the exact same time? Remember, it's Liberty, Texas, not Hollywood.
Sheriff Walker visits every place in town with mannequins, checking to see if they are missing limbs and looking for any other relevant evidence.
Look at that.
Okay, that looks a lot like the paint on the mannequin limbs. I wonder why. Maybe, just maybe, because that is that paint. You know, I don't want to be the old man here, but in my day, we'd paint the town red, not the mannequins.
You want to talk to me about this, Winter?
Never seen it before.
Boy, you're more slippery than an eel right now.
Sheriff Walker hauls Winter, Liberty's sole goth, down to the station for questioning.
All right, Winter. You want to tell me about that paint now?
No, I do not.
A loner, Winter can't wait to graduate high school and leave town to follow his dream of becoming a funeral makeup artist.
Listen, boy, you wouldn't be getting uppity with me if I were you.
I don't have to tell you a damn thing, Sheriff.
No, you don't. But if I were you, I'd start talking. I'm just fixing to put you in jail for the night. If you don't start talking.
Fine, it was me, Sheriff. I did it.
Wait, did the killer just confess? Seriously? All right, everyone, I guess we can all go home. No? Of course it isn't that easy. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. See that little mannequin humor? Just for you.
It was me, Sheriff. I did it. I did the mannequins. I did not do the murders, though. I'm not a serial killer.
Come on, you expect me to believe that you dumped all those mannequins just for the hell of it? Think I was born yesterday?
Everyone in this town already hates me. Why not make them sweat a little bit?
All right, then. If you're innocent, let's prove it. You wouldn't mind giving me some fingerprints, would you?
All right, fine.
To confirm Winter's story, Sheriff Walker sends out the teen's fingerprints and DNA for testing. When Winter's fingerprint and DNA results come in, they support his story. He isn't the Liberty Lady killer, just a kid with bad judgment and a dark sense of humor.
With the mannequin connection eliminated, this case just got a whole lot harder. All of a sudden, everything police think they know about the killer has to be re-examined. But cases like this are where you separate the Sherlock Holmeses from the Inspector Clouseaus.
Sheriff Walker hits a dead end with the case.
I don't know.
Until a new lead finds him.
Walker. What? You stay right there. I'm on my way.
He was right there.
All right.
When Sheriff Walker gets to Dallas's house, she reports having seen a man outside her window.
I was I hear this noise like glass breaking.
Walker.
Sheriff, I need you. A man's trying to break into my house.
When Sheriff Walker examines the broken window, he notices something unusual. It looks like someone has been staking out Dallas's house and dropped a box from the town's only pizzeria.
Well, damn. It's pineapple.
There's only one person in town with such an adventurous palate. Lady Bird's husband, Buck.
Wait, after all this time, could the killer be the first person Sheriff Walker interviewed in the case? That's not possible. Buck was already cleared in his wife's murder. Could there be more than one killer here? What is wrong with this town? No, seriously, if I was living there, I'd be packing up and vamoosing.
The next morning, Sheriff Walker brings Buck back in for questioning.
Now, Buck, I know we've danced this dance before, but I'm gonna have to ask you about your activities last night. Your comings and goings.
Why?
Somebody broke into Dallas's place, and all the evidence points pretty much directly back to you.
No. Listen, all right? I was having a rough night last night, but I ain't go breaking in nowhere, all right? No. Wade, he came over. We got some beers, some pizza, and we were planning on staying up all night yakking and eating, but as soon as I started yawning, I handed Wade the pizza box, told him take leftovers and just hit the road.
Wade left with the pizza and the box.
Yeah. Why does it even matter? You investigate if I'm a good enough host now, too?
No, that case is closed long ago. No, you ain't.
With Buck ruled out as the intruder at Dallas's house, Sheriff Walker brings Wade back in for questioning.
So, Wade, you're saying you were with Buck all night?
Yeah.
It's interesting. He says you left kind of early because he got tired and wanted to get to bed.
Yeah, but that was the end of my night.
So you didn't break into Dallas's house on your way home?
I can't think of why I'd want to do that.
I can, if you're a bad guy. Are you a bad guy, Wade?
No, sir. No, sir, I ain't.
But Sheriff Walker isn't convinced. He wonders if Wade could be the Liberty Lady killer.
Well, if you're gonna hang your hat on being a good guy, you wouldn't mind giving me some DNA and your fingerprints. Well, looks like you weren't being too straight with me, Wade.
When the test results come back, they confirm that Wade's prints match those on Lady Bird's leg, and his DNA matches the hair found on Clementine's body.
You're so crooked, swallow a nail and cough up a screw.
I'm sorry, Sheriff. But I just couldn't help myself.
As Sheriff Walker interrogates Wade, he learns the mailman's issues with women stem from his relationship with his mother.
Hate you. I hate you. I can't stand you. You're worthless. I wish I never given birth to you. Ah!
From the moment he came out of the womb, she verbally abused him, before finally running off with her boyfriend when Wade was just 10 years old.
I hated them. I hated my mom the most.
So here we've got a kid who was abused and abandoned by his mother at a formative age, who grows up to kill women who look like her. You know what this tells me? That this was all about Wade getting revenge on his mom for the horrible things she did to him. Since his mom wasn't around, Wade couldn't get revenge on her, so he found the next best thing. Women who reminded him of her.
Wait, my goodness, aren't you a sight for sore eyes?
Thank you, ma'am.
Why don't you come on in and rest those weary feet of yours for a minute? My goodness, it's hot as Hades out there. You must be parched. Would you like some of my grandmammy's famous peach lemonade?
Well, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I would.
painfully shy, Wade developed a crush on Lady Bird, the first woman in town to show him any attention.
All right, there you are, darling. That should cool you right down.
Wade, what are you doing?
But when Wade steps over the line, Lady Bird explodes.
Wade, I'm talking to you. Where are your manners? What, did your mother raise you to be like this, Wade? I don't think so. You think you could just come into my house, kiss a woman, take what you want?
I hate you. I can't stand you. You're worthless. I wish I'd never given birth to you.
I don't think so. Wade!
Wade had his psyche damaged at a formative age. Now in his eyes, he's just been rejected again, and by a woman who's a dead ringer for his mom. Suddenly all those feelings he had growing up are flooding back, wanting to make those feelings stop and make his mom and all the women like her pay. He just snaps.
No wonder your mother left you. Why would anybody stay with you, Wade?
Shut up! You shouldn't have said that.
Wade tells Sheriff Walker that after killing Lady Bird, he got a feeling of control over his mother and his past. From then on, all he could think about was getting that feeling again, making women who look like his mother a potential target.
But the thing with serial killers, which Wade was well on his way to becoming, is that as they crave that rush of the kill more and more, they get sloppy. And that's exactly what happened when Wade couldn't resist stopping at Dallas's house on his way home from Buck's. Dallas is just lucky that she woke up when she did, because when it comes to murder victims, good things don't come in threes.
Wade is charged with 2 counts of murder and 1 of breaking and entering. At trial, he's convicted and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Don't say a word.
When it comes to small towns, everyone thinks they know their neighbors. But even if someone looks like Mr. Rogers, they may have the heart of Jason from the Friday the 13th movies. That's why you gotta be like a mannequin and stay on your toes.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, Dylan is living the dream.
I'm killing it.
He has a gorgeous condo, a beautiful fiancée,
I'm gonna give you the greatest wedding you've ever seen.
Dylan, I love you.
and a high-paying job at an investment firm downtown. But when his father ends up murdered in his own backyard, the cops come calling. And Dylan's dream life suddenly turns into a nightmare. In an upper-middle-class suburb just outside of Boston, detectives respond to a 911 call.
Hello? There's been an emergency.
A young woman reports that her brother Dylan has just stabbed their father to death with an arrow. Detective O'Reilly arrives to find Dylan relaxing in his backyard.
Detective O'Reilly here. Possible 1054. Victim, arrow through the chest. Are you Dylan?
Yes, sir.
Did you do this?
This kid looks like he just finished a tennis match, not like he just murdered his father in cold blood. In my 25 years as an FBI agent, I have to say I've rarely seen a bow and arrow used as a murder weapon. So I give this guy props for originality. But the real question is, how does a privileged prep school kid end up stabbing his father to death with an arrow in his own backyard? The answer? One pathetic step at a time.
When Dylan's mom dies in childbirth, his father single-handedly raises both he and his twin sister, Madison. Larry builds a successful real estate development business from the ground up. And as a teenager, Dylan lives a charmed life with sports cars and credit cards paid for by his father.
Look, Dad, can we get a move on? I got a date tonight.
This is important, Dylan. Things are going to change around here.
When Dylan and Madison graduate from high school, Larry kicks them out of the nest.
Now that you're adults, you're going to have to make it on your own, just like I did. Build some much-needed character.
Look, that's fine, but how am I going to pay for my car and for my clothes?
And get a job.
A what?
A job, loser. Like to support yourself?
Everything was pretty easy for Dylan in high school. He got by on his looks, his charm, and, oh yeah, on his father's cash. Larry's now trying to teach his children the value of a buck. But the problem with pulling a silver spoon out of someone's mouth is, if they don't have the chutzpah to make it on their own, they can choke.
Dad, check this out.
Madison thrives when she's admitted to Harvard and receives straight A's. Dylan quickly drops out of the local community college and starts on a new plan.
What a bore landscaping company. This is a stupid name.
I've already got 5 clients, and I'm about to sign 3 more.
Dylan, I'm familiar with your big ideas, but can you see this one through?
Yeah, for sure. So can I move back in? I just need a little time to get back on my feet. I'll be out by the end of the year. I promise.
Against his better judgment, Larry relents.
Only 1 year, then you're out.
Awesome.
Oh, man.
But unbeknownst to his father, instead of starting his own business, he gets a job at a movie theater so he can watch films all day long. Now that he's footing the bill instead of Daddy, he falls deep into debt. After 2 weeks on the job, Dylan receives a credit card bill for a whopping $5,000. Then, one afternoon, the movie theater plays a matinee of the latest heist movie, and Dylan gets an idea. He decides to rob convenience stores to make some money.
Wow, what a brilliant idea. Why didn't I think of that? Oh, wait, because it's illegal and stupid, that's why. This guy is living in an alternate reality if he thinks he's going to be able to pull off a robbery like they do in the movies.
But illegal is stupid's middle name.
Go time.
So am I the only one that thinks dressing up like a mime is the epitome of stupid? If you're trying to avoid being caught, painting your face and dressing from head to toe in black and white isn't gonna draw any attention, right?
Just give me the money. The mime is now. Let's go.
I'd like to know what's going on inside this guy's head. On second thought,
Dylan starts robbing convenience stores on a regular basis. He steals $15,000 in 2 weeks and starts living like Daddy's footing the bill again. Dylan begins to gain notoriety, which fuels not only his ego, but his confidence. And despite heavy surveillance of corner stores, Dylan remains one step ahead of the cops.
Where are you, you miserable mime?
Making fools of the detectives.
I'll give him this. For a guy who doesn't want to work very hard, making an honest living, Dylan's doing a pretty good job at robbing corner stores. And the fact that the media is covering him only makes him want to keep going. But the reality is, this ruse can only last so long. And when criminals get cocky, detectives get lucky.
After successfully robbing over 15 corner stores, Dylan makes a small mistake and parks too close to a security camera, giving Detective O'Reilly his first real clue. He runs the plates and tracks the vehicle to Dylan.
There you are, you moronic mime.
But when he runs his name through the criminal database, he learns Dylan has no priors. Detective O'Reilly decides to put a tail on him.
O'Reilly's smart to put a tail on Dylan, because all he has now is some video footage that's kind of suspicious. Any defense attorney worth their salt could argue reasonable doubt, but if O'Reilly can catch him in the act, he can wipe the smile off the mime's face and put him in the slammer for a long time.
A day later, Dylan strikes again.
Why doesn't anybody get this? Give me the money.
Mime's up, buddy.
Dylan is arrested for armed robbery. But with no prior convictions, the court is lenient and sentences him to 2 years in prison. 2 years later, Dylan is released from prison.
Well, it's just been a couple days since my interview, so I wanted to call and check.
He moves back home, but finds rebuilding his life isn't as easy as he thought.
And you guys have a copy of my resume? Mm-hmm. Well, so what's the problem?
His old friends want nothing to do with him, and his criminal record makes getting a job impossible.
No, that was a long time ago, and it doesn't... You know what, buddy? Screw you.
Frustrated and lonely, Dylan spends most of his time alone. Until one day, he comes up with an idea.
Look, Dad, I have a plan.
Pulling up his bootstraps and determined to make his father proud, Dylan decides to enroll in an online course to become a trader.
They're gonna give me my certification. It's all legit. I need the course fee.
No way.
Come on, Dad. I know I've let you down in the past, but I'm willing to put the work in.
It's against my better judgment.
I'm a new man. I promise you.
Don't you dare screw this up again.
Dylan tells his father he's turned over a new leaf. But sure enough, he's back to his old ways, looking for the easy way out. Dylan skips the certification process and opens up an online trading account.
I'm killing it.
That's the problem with kids like Dylan. They rarely change. Despite the fact that dear old Dad wants to believe in his son, the truth is Dylan is a born liar who will do anything to live on Easy Street.
Yes. Hear that, Dad?
At first, Dylan makes a killing, but he spends the money as quick as he makes it.
4 years now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it. It's good work.
Out celebrating his newfound success as a trader, he meets Layla, a beautiful real estate agent who's sweet and trusting.
What do you do?
I'm a trader at a big downtown firm. You know, it's high pressure, but big rewards, right?
Wow. Must mean long hours?
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, if you mean long hours, as in sitting in Daddy's dark basement playing on the computer for 18 hours straight, then yeah, I guess he does work long hours.
I still can't believe you've never had oysters ever in your life.
I don't know, they're weird.
No, they're not that weird. And it's an adventure, because you gotta, like, get in there and get shucking.
A few months later, Layla invites Dylan to move into her expensive condo. Dylan showers Layla with extravagant gifts.
I booked us a trip to the Bahamas.
Dylan, you're spoiling me.
Look through it. There's another surprise, too.
What else could there be?
Dylan, wasting no time, pops the question.
Will you make me the happiest man in the whole world?
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm gonna give you the greatest wedding you've ever seen. It's gonna be amazing.
Dylan, I love you.
It seems that Dylan has put his criminal past behind him and is looking towards the future.
I have to go call your sister.
Go, go.
Dylan proposed. Oh my God, congrats. Thank you, thank you. And I was just wondering if you'd be my maid of honor? Oh, really? Oh,
They start to plan the most extravagant wedding this side of Boston.
I was thinking about 350 people. I have tons of cousins on my mom's side, so... Oh, that'd be perfect. Okay, I'll let him know.
It seems like everything is on the right track. Dylan's making money, he's engaged to a nice girl, and his family is happy. But in reality, it's all based on lies. He's told Layla that he has a fancy schmancy job and is made of money. But in reality, he's a slacker who spends his days in his father's basement. It's not whether this loser is headed for a fall, it's a matter of when.
But while Dylan keeps up the charade of working at his bigwig job downtown.
I love you.
Me too.
Have a great day.
You too.
He spends his days in his father's basement, losing hundreds of thousands of dollars trading online.
Dylan's basically back to square one. He's got no money, no real job, and he's racked up his credit card debt. But this time he has a lavish wedding he needs to pay for and a fiancée who thinks he's loaded. He feels pressure to keep up appearances, but weaved a web of lies so complex, he's got no way out. What's that saying? Desperate times call for? Oh yeah, desperate measures, that's it.
Despite the fact that Dylan promised Layla her dream wedding, he has no money to pay for it.
Hello? Yeah, that's me. All right. I'll pay the full balance tomorrow.
As the wedding day draws closer, the creditors come knocking. Dylan, having run out of options, goes back to Daddy, hoping he'll bail him out once again.
Dad, can we talk? Look, I'm sorry, but I need help. I've just got a lot of debts, and with the wedding coming up, it's...
But you're doing so well now, I don't understand.
I didn't want to tell you this, but I never did my certification. I've just been trading online.
You've got to be kidding me. What did you do with the money I gave you?
I invested it.
And?
I'm $250,000 in the hole.
What?
Look, Dad, I'm sorry. I wanted to tell you, but things have been going so good. I wanted to tell Layla, but I can't go get a new job because she doesn't know about anything, about my past, about anything.
That's it. That's the last straw. I'm done with you.
I just need a little bit of money, and then I can win it all back.
Win?
I mean earn. I just need a little help.
Instead of money, Larry gives Dylan an ultimatum.
I've got an idea. I'll cover your debt. $250,000, is that right? All you need to do is tell her the truth. Come clean about your past and how you're broke now. And if you don't tell her, I will.
You can't do that, Dad.
Just watch me.
What you see here is a desperate man being cornered. And while Larry doesn't know it yet, he's just put one foot into the ring, and this fight isn't gonna end well for one of them.
With his father threatening to reveal the truth about his life to Layla, Dylan becomes more and more paranoid.
Dylan, come here. I want to show you the wedding favors.
I'll be right in.
Backed into a corner and unwilling to tell Layla the truth, he comes up with a plan to fix his problems.
I've got no other choice.
He decides in order to keep the house of cards he's built from crumbling, he must get rid of the one person who can tear it down. His father.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This is a pretty big jump. He's gone from trying to salvage his pathetic little life to deciding to kill his father. But Dylan's always taken the easy way out, and this is no different. He's essentially a narcissist who's pretty much always gotten what he wants, and if something gets in his way, he either lies or gets rid of the problem. And in this case, the problem just happens to be his father.
Dylan puts his plan into motion and starts looking for a murder weapon. He can't buy a gun because of his previous conviction, so he buys a second-hand bow and arrow instead. He sneaks into his father's backyard and hides the bow and arrow.
Interesting weapon choice. If you can't get a gun, why not get a bow and arrow? Really? It's true they're deadly, but mark my words, they certainly aren't user-friendly.
The next morning, Dylan says goodbye to Layla as she leaves for work.
Hey,
I just have to send a couple emails, and I'll be right at the door.
have a great day.
You too.
Then sets about building a digital alibi that will send multiple emails while he's committing the murder. It's a simple plan that leaves a digital footprint, proving he was home the whole day.
I'm no computer expert. I barely know the difference between analog and digital. But according to the computer geeks at the FBI, a computer IP address creates a digital footprint that allows activity to be traced to a specific instrument at a specific location. You can create an alibi for yourself. Maybe not airtight, but good enough.
Dylan arrives at his father's home, hoping to convince him to keep his lies and criminal past a secret from his fiancée.
I know you told me that I should tell Layla, but look, I need you to promise me that you're not going to tell her.
Absolutely not. If you don't tell Layla by the end of the day, I will.
If you do this, Dad, you'll ruin me.
Dylan, the foundation of marriage is trust. You have to stop lying.
I just need a little bit more time. A little bit more time to sort everything out.
You've run out of chances, Dylan. It's time to face the music.
No!
Are you gonna tell Layla or am I?
Neither of us.
Dylan, what the hell is that?
I told you neither of us can tell Layla.
Do you need some help with that?
No! I told you neither of us. You can't tell Layla, you can't tell Layla, you can't tell Layla.
Dylan attempts to hide his father's body when his sister Madison arrives home unexpectedly from college.
Dylan, what are you doing? Daddy! Why would you do this?
Don't tell anyone.
You're insane.
Don't!
Hello? There's been an emergency.
As Madison manages to get away and call 911, Dylan realizes the jig is up.
Dylan may have had a chance to pull this thing off if his sister hadn't shown up and blown his cover. Now, he's basically toast. Cops have motive, means, opportunity, oh, and an eyewitness. Almost makes me feel kind of sorry for the guy. Not.
Are you Dylan?
Yes, sir.
Did you do this?
Dylan confesses to his father's murder and is sentenced to life in prison.
Yo, can I get like a sparkling water in here?
Looks like Dylan's house on Easy Street has finally been sold. The thing is, Dylan wanted a life of luxury, but he wasn't willing to work for it. He was always looking for the path of least resistance, so when his father finally forced his hand and made him confront the truth, Dylan simply wasn't able to. In his mind, he had to keep the lie going, and if that meant killing his father and attempting to silence his sister, then so be it. The thing is, if he had used his smarts to make something of himself instead of thinking up scams for a living, he could be running a Fortune 500 company by now instead of wasting away in a jail cell. The truth hurts.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, basketball star Jordan
Sophie? Yes.
is a player on and off the court.
Oh.
He soon becomes the target of an obsessed cyber stalker who's hell-bent on messing with his life.
I can't believe they canceled a reservation and said I did. That's whack.
Jordan, you're cheating on me? What the hell? Oh my God.
But when the obsession turns deadly, police will have to rule out a long list of suspects to find the killer.
And it's dogs they tell us to get fixed.
Toronto, Canada. The Six, as it's known in certain circles. Home to some of the most devoted basketball fans in the world.
Oh my God, Jordan! Jordan Crowley!
Hey, girl, what's up?
I'm sorry, such a huge fan. I'm sorry, I'm losing it. Could you sign it
Of
for me?
course, I could sign it.
Jordan Crowley is a rookie shooting guard for the Toronto Woodpeckers.
Jenny, huh?
Yeah, thank you.
He's enjoying all the perks that come with playing in the big leagues.
Sophie?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, man.
All right, take it easy, girl. Keisha, what's up?
After celebrating a game-high 24 points with Keisha, Jordan heads home to his live-in girlfriend, Sabrina. They met in high school and have been together ever since.
Did you get in late last night?
Yeah, I was out with a couple of the guys. Slept on the couch. I didn't want to disturb you as you were sleeping so peacefully like a princess.
Thanks, babe. Out celebrating, huh?
You know it. You know, I missed you last night.
Better have.
Hey, he's a pro athlete. Not an excuse, but many have reps for being playas. They got women throwing themselves at him, sure, but they're also physically and psychologically primed to compete. And outside the court, the next best natural high to rival the thrill of competition is sex, and lots of it. And next to sex, hero worship. That's a big turn on.
It's hot. Whoops. I saw the game last night. You were awesome.
Thanks, Tessa.
But despite his penchant for the ladies, Jordan has some special plans for his relationship with Sabrina.
Yo. Yeah, make sure the diamond shines real nice. Like the sunshine, when it beams, you'll go blind. Yeah, be sure you have the ring tomorrow. All right, bet.
So you're buying an engagement ring?
Nah. Promise ring. But I hope you understand why me and you can only just be friends, right?
Totally.
You're the best.
Crap. Is the pressure fine?
Yeah, I guess. A lot of pressure. Oh, real intense there. Oh.
Apparently, there's a saying among pro ball players, play ball, get laid, sleep in. Jordan seems to be taking it to the utter extreme. Oh. He may be good at dodging and dribbling on the court, but this game is with real women in the real world. I have a feeling that sooner or later his winning streak is gonna flame out big time.
Jordan has no idea that he's caught the eye of a cyberstalker, obsessed with his every move. Soon after giving Sabrina the promise ring, Jordan hits a losing streak.
This is ridiculous. I can't believe they canceled a reservation and said I did it. That's whack.
Calm down, babe. It's just a stupid mix-up.
A mix-up? First it was the flowers, now this.
Oh, yeah, and then there was the airline reservations.
Feels like I'm being jinxed. This better not affect my game.
Don't tell me you're gonna start wearing your underwear inside out for the rest of the season now.
Sab, it's the only way that keeps the bad juju away. Let's go. Not happen anymore. Swear. Go.
Jordan's bad luck goes from bad to worse.
Oh, yeah, babe.
Jordan, you're cheating on me? What the hell?
Whoa, hold up. What are you talking about?
Read it.
The anonymous letter tells Sabrina to watch her back because one of Jordan's 12 other girlfriends are out to get her.
Seriously, 12 different girls? Is that what you're doing on your away games? Who's Alicia? Who's Daisy? Who are they?
Baby, that's nonsense. I would never cheat on you. You know, it's one of them tabloids be writing stuff about me just because I'm famous. You should know it's crap.
I swear?
Baby, listen. I would never cheat on you. You gotta believe me.
Just when things settle down, the calm is shattered.
Wonder what this is.
Oh my God.
What the hell? What does the letter say?
You will pay.
I know what this is. You're messing with the wrong guy.
Mysterious cancellations, anonymous letters, dead bunnies. While attention from adoring fans is flattering, this looks like it's crossed over into stalker territory. Believe it or not, there's more than one type of stalker. They're motivated for different reasons, but all of them are driven by obsession and aren't exactly mentally stable. If I were Jordan, I'd watch my back, and I don't just mean looking out for the point guard.
2 weeks after Jordan got the bunny, his frantic neighbor calls 911.
911, what's your emergency?
I just heard a weird, pop sound coming from my neighbor's house. Screaming, another pop sound, and then nothing. Something's going on. Please hurry.
But when police enter Jordan's house, it's too late.
Shots fired. One victim down. Requesting backup, I repeat, one victim down.
Talk about game over. This case just went from stalking to murder in cold blood. I don't envy the detectives on this case because anytime there's a high-profile victim involved, the pressure is intense, not to mention dealing with a media frenzy and public attention. My advice, get ready to play your best defense.
The internet lights up with the news before detectives even arrive on the scene. Hotshot basketball player Jordan Crowley's girlfriend has been found murdered in his home.
Yes, sir. I have officers stationed around the entire perimeter. I assure you, sir, nobody is getting in here on my watch. Damn social media. Nothing nobody can do about that. Poor kid.
Sabrina has been shot twice at close range. The entry wounds are from a large caliber weapon, but that doesn't match with the pop sound that the neighbor reported.
Most handguns make a really loud bang when fired, but the 911 caller said he heard a pop-pop sound, so my guess is that the murder weapon was fitted with a silencer. People who use silencers are most often pros. That tells me that this wasn't a random act.
Did you see anyone on the street? Or maybe a vehicle you didn't recognize?
Yeah, I think I saw a nun.
A nun?
Yes, in an old-fashioned nun habit, running towards a dark car sedan. Is that what you call it?
Okay. And around what time was that?
Holy sister act. Okay, a nun running away from a crime scene? Weird, but it's a great disguise for either a man or a woman. This killer is no dummy. This was very well executed. But the question is, Who would want Sabrina dead? Procedure has the cops ruling out those nearest and dearest to Sabrina. Promise ring or no promise ring, Jordan is the first suspect they need to talk to.
8362, 28 to a vehicle, 900.
Detectives want to know where Jordan was during the time of the murder.
I was getting a manicure. These hands are what I do for a living. You know who I am, right?
Rest assured, Mr. Crowley, I know exactly who you are. Found this in Sabrina's purse. Do you recognize it?
Yeah, it came in the mail the other day. About it.
Ask your boyfriend, the dog, how many girls he's been doing the nasty with. I'm counting like 12 names here.
It's one night stand thing. You know how it is.
So let me guess. Sabrina reads this, confronts you, and then you lose it on her.
Oh, that's not how it happened.
I see you have a permit to carry a gun.
No, you're tripping. I would never hurt her. I gave her a promise ring.
Well, then you won't have a problem handing it over.
Detectives seize the gun as evidence. Ballistics will run tests to determine if it's been fired recently and whether the bullets are a match to those that killed Sabrina.
And I'm assuming you have contacts for all your girlfriends in your phone? I'm gonna need your phone for evidence.
Why you have to do it like that? I got cloud access. I can just share you the info.
Or how about this? I charge you with obstruction.
Can I at least get Sad's ring back?
No can do. The killer took it from her finger.
Detectives check Jordan's alibi and find out he was telling the truth.
And you're sure it was him? Was he there with anybody else, or?
Just like he said, he was getting a manicure at a downtown salon.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Ballistics has determined that the bullets taken from Sabrina's body are from a .357 Magnum. Bullets from Jordan's gun don't match, which clears him as a suspect.
Jocks. And it's dogs they tell us to get fixed.
Come on, detective, ease up. Jordan's got a lot going on. He's playing games, practicing, and juggling the ladies. You can't deny he's got stamina. His cardio workouts must be brutal. Jordan is a big basketball player with a lot of fans vying for his attention. Any of these friends could have taken their devotion too far. And this means overtime for the detective. She's got to troll through his little black book and find out who was a one-night stand, who wanted more, and who had the means and the motive. I'm tired just thinking about it.
Would you look at that? We did a search on your contacts and came across Daisy. You put a restraining order on her.
We dated for 3 months, and then she went crazy possessive on me. So I put a restraining order on her. I met her at the
Jordan
gym.
tells the detective that Daisy's a manicurist that he met at the gym. He claims that when she found out that Sabrina moved in with him, she was incensed and started to act out violently. Daisy actually confessed to police that she left the dead bunny. But when they went to question her, she denied sending Sabrina the threatening letter that listed all of Jordan's other girlfriends.
She went all basic instinct on me, so I put a restraining order on her.
You mean fatal attraction?
Come again?
Restraining orders are a nice idea, but let's face it, a piece of paper can't really protect a person from someone hell-bent on harming them or someone close to them.
Detective Sinclair looks hard at Daisy, but she soon rules her out as a suspect. She has an airtight alibi. She was taking a fitness class at the time of Sabrina's death, and there's no proof she sent the threatening letter. One possible suspect in Sabrina's murder is ruled out. Only 11 more to go. But then, the forensic examination reveals unexpected information.
Piper, great work. You're being cyber-stalked.
Being what?
Your phone has been hacked. Somebody has gone through all of your emails, all of your social media accounts, and they're also tracking your every move through GPS.
Even my notes?
Sure.
Guess I ain't getting my phone back.
Hey, at least Jordan should be happy to know he isn't jinxed. Someone had invaded his privacy and was using the data with malicious intent. Stalkers are in the harassment and intimidation game. That's likely who's been messing with his online transactions and sent the threatening letter to Sabrina. Scary, huh? What's scarier is this stalker could be anyone. And scariest, they very well could also be a cold-blooded killer.
While detectives wait for computer forensics to trace Jordan's cyberstalker, police continue to eliminate the basketball star's long list of lovers as suspects in Sabrina's murder.
Hey, anything on that IP address? Really? We got a hit?
Forensics has been able to trace the IP address of Jordan's cyberstalker.
Don't you worry, Jordan. Tessa knows how to love you.
She turns out to be number 8 in Jordan's little black book.
I got you, baby.
So Jordan definitely knows his cyberstalker, in the biblical sense too, and in my professional opinion, she cray-cray. But she's not going to be an easy collar. The police can assume that if she's the stalker, then she could be the letter writer. But even if they can trace the letter back to her, which is tough without fingerprints, they can't just pin Sabrina's murder on her. They need to prove motive, means, and opportunity. And so far, all they have on Tessa is her IP address and that she's one of Jordan's conquests.
Police dig into Tessa's background and discover she's an extremely dedicated Toronto Woodpeckers fan. They also discover that she has a history of stalking. A few years earlier, Tessa was charged with harassing a former Woodpecker player.
Hey, Gary, hi. I know you're in training, but I made your favorite chicken and waffles just for you.
That dude was so scared of his #1 fan that he begged to get traded to another team across the border. And that team didn't even make the playoffs last year. So you know Tessa must have been a nightmare.
What's wrong? Gary! Gary, you can tell me anything!
Stalking is about obsession, and usually the stalker is psychologically unstable. They're looking to fill a void in their life. So as soon as the object of Tessa's obsession was gone, she went looking for a replacement.
Soon after Jordan's drafted to the Woodpeckers,
Huge fan of the team, always have been, but you're like my favorite player right now.
Tessa sets her sights on the rookie and does whatever she can to get close to him.
Cool.
Yeah? And I just have to show you, I got this. Look at that.
I really like it. It's real nice.
Would you sign this for me?
Oh, of course. What can I make it up to?
Tessa.
Tessa, huh?
Yeah.
Ah, cute name for a beautiful girl like yourself.
Oh, thank you.
There.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I have a hug?
Oh, sure. Here you go. Okay. Well, I'll catch you later.
No, I give massages.
Massages?
I'm like a masseuse. So if you just call there, I'll give you a discount.
Oh, might take you up on that.
Oh, okay.
All right, take it easy.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.
when detectives check into Tessa's hot stone massage business, they discover that it's a front. She doesn't have the proper certification, and Jordan is her only client.
Instead of asking him on a date, she invents an entire business. The lengths some stalkers will go to get close to their target. Tessa is what's called an intimacy seeker. They'll identify a person, often a complete stranger, as their true love and start to act like they're in a romantic relationship with them. If she believed that Sabrina was threatening her romance with Jordan, she could have eliminated her as a rival. But police need solid evidence if they're going to prove it.
Working undercover, detectives seized Tessa's garbage, hoping to find any incriminating evidence.
Whew. I should have listened to my mama. I would have been a kick-ass actuary.
Oh, I love the smell of rotting garbage in the morning. Once I was ankle deep in open sewage and... well, but we found the evidence that clinched the case. Dumpster diving is a basic, if literally dirty, part of police work. Once someone puts their garbage on the curb for pickup, it's fair game. Police don't need a warrant to seize it. They just need strong stomachs.
Dang.
Okay, first thing, Tessa clearly does not separate her organic garbage from her recycling. And second, she clearly doesn't understand the concept of shredding incriminating evidence. She bought a book on how to make a silencer. Sabrina was likely killed with a gun with a silencer. Smart? Nope. This looks suspicious, but the police still need to prove that she actually made a silencer and put her at the scene of the crime. So plug your nose, it's back to more dumpster diving.
Sifting through Tessa's trash and background, detectives find Tessa has a .357 Magnum registered in her name. The same type of gun used to kill Sabrina. In her trash, they find hardware store receipts for items to make a gun silencer. And lastly, they discover the vehicle neighbors saw her driving away from the crime scene is a match to one Tessa rented on the day of the murder.
The police have done their homework, but what they've really got is a lot of circumstantial evidence. Without a weapon or a confession, they got nothing. If they haul Tessa in for questioning, they could risk blowing the case. But if they can get a confession without her suspecting, then it'll be a slam dunk and could lead to a conviction. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist that one.
I have some good news. I think I found Sabrina's killer. All evidence points to Tessa.
For real? Girl's practically scared of her own shadow. Though there was something off about her. You know what I'm saying? She was always dropping those hot stones.
Well, here's the thing. We're gonna need you to wear a wire.
Say what again?
We need to get her confession on tape. So here's the plan. You invite her over, treat her all sweet and nice, and she'll talk. She trusts you.
I don't know.
Trust me, it will work, and it's the only way.
Fine. Okay.
Ready to put your game face on?
Let's do it.
The next night, detectives monitor from a parked van outside. Jordan tries to get Tessa to spill the beans.
Let's go.
Ready for some shots?
You bad boy. I'm already drunk.
Okay, let's drink up to a new life.
Cheers.
Whoa. You know, I'm happy I'm a free agent now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I know.
With Sav gone, I could be with the woman I always wanted to. With you.
She was a gold digger. She was playing with your... She was just playing with your mind.
I know that.
That's why I did it.
Did what? Oh, come on, you can tell me anything.
Hate to admit it, but Jordan has the knack. She's practically eating out of his hand. Maybe he should consider quitting the NBA and go to work for the police department.
Tell me. I wrote the note.
You wrote the note?
Yeah. I wanted Sabrina to break up with you. And I know why you broke up with me.
You made a big mistake doing that.
But I understand it was part of the plan so that you and I could be together.
But when Sabrina didn't storm out as hoped, and Jordan ended their relationship shortly afterwards, Tessa decided she had no other option than to kill Sabrina.
Tessa is a rare case because the majority of stalkers are men and very few actually kill. But it all comes down to control. When Jordan cut her off, Tessa's self-worth hit rock bottom, and she blamed Sabrina. Tessa essentially transferred her love obsession for Jordan to a hate obsession for Sabrina. And the only way to get rid of her hate and anger was to kill the person responsible for it. Make sense? Yeah, I know. But then again, we're talking stalker sense, and it sounds reasonable to them.
Disguised in an old-fashioned nun costume she'd once worn on Halloween, she attached the silencer she made to her .357 Magnum. She drove a rented car to Jordan's house and waited for him to exit before she moved in.
Who are you?
Why are you doing this?
Tessa, you're under arrest for the murder of Sabrina.
What? Jordan, what is going on?
Let's go. Come on. Let's go.
But I loved you, and I would have been the best girlfriend that you ever would have had.
Tessa is found guilty of murder and sentenced to 25 years to life.
Tessa was methodical, meticulous, and a maniac. She really believed that she had a future with Jordan. But when you're a stalker, you're not rational. You just aren't psychologically able to function in the real world and have an actual relationship.
Still got it.
That kind of describes a certain NBA player, doesn't it? Hopefully, he's learned a lesson.